Hello again, whiskey friends. Thanks for joining today, everybody, for another Tuesday discussion. Here on Tuesdays, we do like to give video responses to questions that we're getting on either Instagram, YouTube comments, or from Patreon. And today's question was, what are my thoughts on the comparisons between the Wild Turkey Voyage and the Wild Turkey 12 year? So the Wild Turkey Voyage came out earlier this year. I was a bit all over the place on this particular release. Ultimately, I did come around and give it a decent review, but still disappointing compared to its price. So then the question became, well, what about this Wild Turkey 12 year that we always talk about? We seem to have good impressions of the Wild Turkey 12 year. How does it compare to the Voyage? So I am going to do a little bit of a tasting here and give my thoughts on these two releases and ultimately say if I would recommend getting either of them. So thank you for joining me today, whiskey friends. Let's kick off the show. All right. So I'm going to pour the Wild Turkey 12 in the Hello Again Whiskey Friend Glen. And then I'm going to do the Wild Turkey Voyage in the Whack Glen here. So, with this comparison, as we go through this, what I'm looking to kind of find out here is, I think we do talk very fondly of the Wild Turkey 12, but when it comes to the Voyage, I've been a little shaky on it, and so have other people. I've noticed that across other reviews as well. Though, similar to my experience, I have heard people say how disappointed they were off the first two pours, and once it got past the neck, it really opened up. So maybe this voyage is just one that keeps getting a little better as you get deeper into the bottle. This will be a chance for me to re explore it again. Now, the Wild Turkey 12 year, this one is supposed to be at least, a Japan only release. Tell you what, I saw it in quite a bit of spots over here being sold, but there are all types of Japanese writing on the back of this thing. This is supposed to be a Japanese release. It is 101 proof, and typically I find it sold around $150 domestically. I do believe it cost me a little more than that when I got it last year, but let's just say it's $150. And it's Wild Turkey 12 years, so the age is 12 year. Now, with the Voyage, this is the latest Master's Keep release. We did do a full review on this if you haven't seen it, so you can go back and see that video. This is 105 proof or 106 proof. Let's see here. 106 proof, and then age stated at 10 years, though they could have put other ages into this blend. And the Wild Turkey Voyage was also finished in Jamaican rum casks, whereas the 12 year is just a straight 12 year. So going into this, we will be comparing the noses on each and the palate on each, and ultimately give my thoughts. The big divisive part about the Wild Turkey Voyage is the fact that they upped the price to $275 retail this year. Prior years, we were looking at $175 for the Master Keep, and that was pretty consistent for all 7 of the prior releases. Somewhere between 160 to 175. So that $100 price jump is really what rubbed people the wrong way. But let's see on the comparison here if it would beat the Wild Turkey 12 or if the cheaper Wild Turkey 12 is the standout amongst the two releases. So I'm going to do the Wild Turkey 12 year first. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for joining me this far. Oh, man. The Wild Turkey 12 year nose is probably the best part of it. The oak really comes across. It's got this nice deep oak. It's not overly oaked, but it's just got this nice deep oak that's really, really inviting, and it's coupled with this just delightful Wild Turkey cherry. Bit of turkey funk there, a whole bunch of other berries too. I think that's what always impressed me about this particular one on the nose, was just the amounts of fruits that come across it. All right, let's get into the nose of the voyage here. Ooh, it's interesting. By comparison here, man, did I get a lot of rum. So going back and forth like this, they might be kind of canceling each other out where they have similarities, and thus the differences then begin to stick out. And all I'm smelling is that rum. The bourbon's underneath it. It doesn't come across with any oak. Um, Getting some faint caramel. It is interesting now doing this comparison because the nose was the favorite part of the voyage for me as well. I love the nose on the voyage, but right now it's not hitting as hard as I remember it hitting when I do this direct comparison. All right. Well, let's go into the palate here. I feel like I might have put this at a disservice putting it second, but it's also got the higher proof. So I'll still go back to the Wild Turkey 12 year and drink this one first. Cheers, everybody. Ah, lovely palate. Once again, that cherry is really, really going to come through. I was getting a bit of a kind of a whipped heavy cream vanilla. And then on the finish, a whole bunch of other fruits again. I think the fruits really stick out. It's more of a fruit medley, though, something between berries and pears. That sweet oak hits pretty good, and then really just a bit of caramel. Mm. And then that vanilla again with those fruits on the finish. Okay. So the main thing kind of sticking out to me right now on the Wild Turkey 12 is different layers of fruit combined with that sweet oak. I will say too, for being 101 proof, I do feel like the Wild Turkey 12 year drinks below its proof. I mean, it's very very I don't know, it's very very light in the way that it feels and the volume of the flavors themselves. All right, let's go into the voyage. Mm. Man, that is straight rum again. That's an interesting comparison head to head. The rum is the only thing that's surviving this head to head comparison. Um, On the back end, there's a little bit of a tannic finish to it. Got that funk from that Jamaican rum. I mean, it's good. Huh. It's hitting me kind of strange tonight, though. We're going for another sip. Yeah, that's just really, man, just like the nose, doing the comparison side by side really nullified the wild turkey aspects of the voyage and left just the rum. I'm going to go in with the fresh palate, get a sip of water, and then I'm going to give the voyage a fresh crack, without doing this head to head here. Let's see here. It is very interesting, though, when you do these things side by side, it's almost like a, algebraic equation where you try to cancel the like things out on either side of the equation to get down to the heart of it. And sometimes I find when you drink things that are so similar, and that especially from the same distillery, that they don't stick out as much in a blind. This can happen in a blind as well. They'll neutralize each other. So sometimes you get a surprising winner in a blind because it's the thing that stuck out rather than the thing that had all of these similarities that just are canceling each other out. All right. So I'm going to go back to the Wild Turkey Voyage with the fresh palate. Tell you what, that little bit of a break there gives it some more vibrancy on the nose. Getting a lot more vanilla, almost a cinnamon roll. Man, that rum just goes for days. All right, let's go for a taste of this one again. Okay, that helped. Even getting a bit of the cherry now. It's actually got it's interesting. The 12 has a more stereotypical oak present, a sweet oak present, but the Voyage feels darker without getting oaky. It just has almost this like base to it. All right, let's go into the Wild Turkey 12. If I reverse order the two, I don't know, man. The Wild Turkey 12 has more standout parts. The fruits still come shining through on the Wild Turkey 12, even when I reverse the order. I'm going to go for one last sip of this, and then I'll give my final thoughts. This is the Wild Turkey 12. Yeah, the fruits. I'm really digging the Wild Turkey 12 tonight. If I had to pick one of these pours, heck, even if they were the same price, gosh, I might go with the Wild Turkey 12 over the Voyage. You might be getting in taste profile a little bit. Do you want something with a sweet oak and abundance of fruit, or do you want something that's rum dominated with a little bit of a dark caramel base to it? I think I'm going to go with the 12 year with the fruits. The finish is still going on the 12 year too. Actually seemed to end pretty early on the Voyage. Now I think about that. Yeah, I just went back to the Voyage. Of course, I didn't rinse out on this one. Only the rum survives. And the finish gets a little off-putting on it when you do it side by side. It was fine on its own, but side by side, the Wild Turkey 12 wins. So, gosh, irregardless of the price on that one, I mean, I'd go the Wild Turkey 12. So, if you were looking to choose between these two bottles, the Wild Turkey 12 or the Wild Turkey Voyage, I would go with the Wild Turkey 12. A little bit cheaper, both expensive bottles, though. Keep that in mind. I don't know if either of them are actually a good value per se for what you're getting. You are getting taxed a little bit for not being supposed to get this in the States. But I would go with the Wild Turkey 12. I think it's got more of the profile that I'm looking for in a Wild Turkey, and just makes me question a little bit what that rum is adding to the Voyage. Man, I think this one made me take a step back on the Voyage rather than making me take a step further that I thought I was going to. Interesting conclusion, but that's why we do the comparisons. So thank you for the questions in the comments. If you have any other comparisons you would like to see or questions you would like to see handled in these Tuesday discussions, please let me know. If you've done this comparison yourself, I would like to know the outcome as well. If you had to choose between the Wild Turkey 12 and the Voyage, which one are you going to drink? So thank you for joining me today, whiskey friends. I'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say